Welcome back, everybody. We are here in front of our barn that we left off in the last episode. Also, I mean, you can't really help but notice the giant wheat field next to us. But today what we are doing is we're installing a hoist. And this isn't just any simple hoist. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff to it. And not only that, a lot of stuff to this barn, getting this to look a bit more complete compared to how we left it in the last episode. So how about we get started with that? I've got quite a few ideas for this thing. And I've been messing around just a little bit, trying to think of shapes in this place and think about how we're going to have this whole thing looking like. In fact, I'm just going to see if I can fit in there. No, I can't, but this will be fine. So what we are thinking of doing, well, what I am thinking of doing is getting this to kink in just a little bit like what we said in the last episode, but I want to have a little bit of an overhang of a roof here, perhaps, if we can. It might just make this building look a lot better in terms of the silhouette of the building. We got to think about that, and that'll work fantastically. And also, of course, ideas still welcome for what you guys want to see inside here. I'm always open to any changes to what I do here, and anything you want to see added. Of course, it'll be cool to see a combination of people's ideas all just come together in one world. You know what I mean? That's a really awesome thing. So now that we've got this part here kind of thought out, let's get straight into it. I want to go ahead and just work out exactly where we're going to be putting the hoist, and from there, of course, we can get the hoist in. Now let's check how good that ender pilling is. It was pretty close. I'm going to give myself that. That was not too bad. From that distance, not too bad. All right, so there. Okay, that's slightly lucky. I don't normally do that well, but there we go. We can go ahead for that. So what is this? We've got the bottom over here. I think what we'll do is we'll grab some of these and we'll go 1, 2, 3. So that's like 4 from the top. I think that'll be all right. So then we'll do that one from there. And what I was thinking with this thing is to do something similar to what we've actually done in our previous city, the big city. We've got one house which has a hoist on it, just carrying a cauldron. No real other reason besides just to have a cauldron in it. That was pretty much the logic behind it. And really, I don't think it needed any more for that one. But for this one, there is logic. And in fact, I just realized we're going to have to quickly go grab ourselves a little bit of a different wood, because I've brought a whole bunch of spruce, but we probably will be better off with a bit of spruce and a bit of dark oak. Now, we should have pretty much most of this stuff in there like that, and now we can go back. So coming from here, look at that. You can see it's starting to be a bit more interesting than just your plain old barn that you would normally see. Oh, that was close. I'm gonna get good at this. I'll tell you now, I'm gonna get good at these ender pearls one day. But yeah, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and just get this thing to be very different to your average sort of thing you would see in Minecraft. And in fact, we do have to go down here, so no real point. We need some stairs, first of all, some dark oak stairs, which is actually significantly more expensive than it should be. I've been going through dark oak like it's going out of fashion real fast recently. It's just been my block of choice for so many things. This city and the other one. It's pretty crazy. So there we go. Let's try and support this thing. These are just the thoughts that at least go through my head. And by the way, if you guys ever have any questions about how we go through these builds or just have struggles with your own builds, we do have, of course, a Discord server, which you are very welcome to join. We've got a whole bunch of people on there showing off their builds and stuff like that. And I don't think I ever really give it enough time in videos, at least. I forget that a lot of people might not have heard us in like the first videos, for instance, might not have seen all our videos that have mentioned it. So I thought I'd maybe just go ahead, put it out there. If anyone wants to join it, of course, that's in the description as per usual. You guys feel free to join our community over there. So this over here, I'm just trying to think. We've got one piece here. Maybe I can go ahead and just put, okay, that's dark oak. We'll do this over here. What I think we'll do is we'll do a little bit of a piece over the top. I'll leave that in there for that sake now. And maybe over here, let's jump down. So we've got that piece there being held up. We'll have a little bit of a cord coming off the front, picking up some wheat. We might not even have the wheat in it, but maybe over here we can do something a bit more interesting. In fact, we need to make this piece look like it's taking wheat in it. And did I bring? I do. I have some of these. So we'll have to put some wheat hay bales in there. And then, of course, we're also going to have to push this piece out a little bit. So a bit of horizontal support would not do too badly over here, I don't think. So grab some of this, grab some of that. And I'm using oak as kind of a vertical one. Yeah, oak would probably work quite well. I don't think it would work terribly. So may as well give oak a go. In fact, I'll get rid of this acacia. It's looking like it's a little bit too much with the grays. What I think we could do is maybe even, instead of using these as grays, we could maybe get another gray block in, see how we go. But I think getting another gray block in could work quite well, just to get this area a bit more color in it, even though gray is not really, well, not really, it's not at all a color that we will be calling a color, but you know what I mean. With just getting something a little bit different to these browns and stuff like that. So around here, I guess we could go something like this. I become so attached to just having blocks that I've put down. I feel bad sometimes breaking them, but you gotta do it. It's something you have to catch yourself. Whenever you do it, you just gotta go ahead and just break those blocks. I don't know if that's a thing that I just feel, but sometimes I put down blocks and I think, you know, I've put them there for a reason. It must have been a smart reason. A large amount of the time it's just as a placeholder block, and then I end up leaving the block in and then building everything around a block which wasn't intended to be there in the first place. So how's that looking there? That's a good little frame. We'll work on from the inside out. So we've got this little frame here. What would probably be good now is just to go ahead and put some of these vertical things out. Horizontal things, sorry. We're going to start this again. Don't start the whole vertical horizontal thing. We actually had that quite a few months ago, where for some reason, everything I was saying was flipping from horizontal to vertical, when it should have been the other way around, and it worked both ways. It was very strange. So I think with this, what I might do, I might just work out where I want this horizontal piece to go, because this is just going to be me jumping in and going out again. I think I'll just work out where I want that to be, and then we can go ahead and carry on with it. Now, I've got a few things that I've done here. Let's just go ahead and land around here. Now, that sheep better be well behaved. These ones actually are the ones, and that one could cause some danger. These ones, yeah, they're the biggest menace to my crops. I'm telling you now, these sheep, I've gotten rid of so many sheep in this game. It's incredible, and I just keep finding more and more and more. They just keep spawning around here. So what we've got here is I've gone ahead, put this little piece in here. But what I want to do is I wanted to get in a little bit more color, and that was where I was talking about that gray a bit earlier. So let's go up here and maybe get rid of, I guess this will be interior. So, I mean, that doesn't really count. We could probably just put a bit of space actually in here, because inside this spot, I'm thinking maybe okay, I'm getting distracted, but I'm thinking maybe we could put some hay bales in there. But around these pieces here, and between this little piece around here, and I guess if we're doing this, we'll probably have to take this out, one more block there, and then drop in either some cyan terracotta, which is actually a gray color, but I do use that a lot in the other cities. So I thought maybe we could give some concrete a go, because I do love the concrete. I just never use it. So I need to work it in whenever I can. And I think this is a perfect opportunity to do it. So let's see which one we prefer. And that's not fair. I've gone ahead and I've made one completely blocked off properly, the other one not. So I'll do this so we got an easy comparison of the two. There we go. All right, so if we go down here and compare, I think like that one can work and that one can work. However, as I say, I want to try using some different blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this side, the light gray. So we'll go for that. That's light gray terracotta or normal gray? Yeah, light gray. That's right. Actually, I just made it. How did I forget about it? But that's the light gray terracotta or concrete. So I was wrong in any case. So we put those in there. And then what I was thinking, maybe we could put something in the front here. And I don't do this actually as much as I used to. It's a neat little trick. If you guys are ever trying to get your builds to look a little bit more, I don't know what the word would be, polished if you aren't necessarily too confident in building, I guess. This is like a pretty tricky sort of way, like an easy trick to get your builds to have a nicer curve to them. It's just putting in these sorts of gaps a little bit of a fence block or a wall or something like that. Sometimes it works. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it can help you. But for us, what we're doing is we're actually not using it for that. We're using it to get rid of a little bit of the gray. Whoa, keep missing that one. So if we go down here now, yeah, that'll work. That's already starting to come along very, very well. And then I've got a few other thoughts. We can maybe pull out some of these, because I did say I was exposing the wood, which is different for me. I don't very, very often do this. So doing these sorts of things, in fact, I'm going to go one more up. I'm going to go there. Can I get that? There? Okay, that's that. That would explain it. So if we do that there, maybe just one above it so that it's kind of leaning on top of these beams over here, that could work. But then this is a little bit of a problem. So we'll have to think about that. That's not really too much of an issue. It's just something we have to think about. How we could we do this over here like this, or maybe I'll just put a stair block or something in there. It's not a big deal. It's just it's a deal. That's about it. So if we do that there like that, maybe a few of these inside here, and of course once we've done this now, we're going to go ahead and start doing the rest of the interior. But stuff like this, maybe something there, and something along those lines there. And if we go out this way, yeah, that's starting to look pretty cool. In fact, you know what? That with these in front of it, looks like the way bone blocks look when they've got a lot of shadow on them. If I had to look very quickly, I actually, for a second, maybe I've just seen way too many bone blocks in my time in this game, but I just look at it and I saw bone blocks for a second. But yeah, that's definitely an indication that I've used too many bone blocks in this game. So that's looking pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead, probably add some more polishing off sorts of things, maybe some trapdoors, things along those lines that'll just make it look a little bit more interesting. So actually we could probably give the trapdoors a go and then go ahead into build away from camera mode. So if we do that there, can I do that? Yeah, that works. Something like this, perhaps, there. I guess then I have to put a little piece over the top. Maybe, actually, this could be a cool way of getting this last piece out that I was talking about. There, like this. I'm trying also, by the way, to get something that looks a little bit different to the way we've built in previous builds. Trying to create a new style, more or less, for this area to make it its own, because it's so easy to just build your same way all the time and then not think about changing a style. But I think if we consciously working towards getting a different style with this, I think that will definitely work wonders. And by the way, I think this is turning out very well. I'm very happy with the way this is looking. So what I'll do now is I'll get this piece in here. I'll probably start with the roof, and then we can come together and see what else we can do to this thing. Now that's really starting to turn out very good. We've gone ahead, put a little bit of a hat on it, got it all covered up over here. And what I've decided to do was keep this room right at the top here, because the height of this, where this was coming out, was way too high to have the barn roof. I'm sure we could imagine a ridiculously tall barn roof. I think that would be a bit crazy. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop the roof down a little bit and have this as the motor room for this piece here. And of course, the motor not being like a full steam powered motor, like we can have whatever mechanism is powerful enough to do this. Maybe it's just a winch, like a little bit of a crank. You like turn something and pull this up here. Who knows? There's gears in there. But what we want to do here is we want to go ahead and work out where we need the second floor, because that will dictate where the rest of the walls go, and also, not only that, also where we're going to be putting in the supports, because these are actually not on the right spot. In fact, while we're up here, let's just get rid of these very quickly, because they are not very useful to us. But what I do want to do with these is I want to go ahead, once we've got rid of them, redo them and make them look very interesting, because you can actually use these supports as just purely very decorative stuff. I'll show you, hopefully. Hopefully I'll get it right and I can show you guys what I'm talking about, but they are something that can make a very big difference to your build if you can just get them to add in a little bit more. There we go. I did not want to place that there, and I can get rid of that one there. So if we've got this here, we'll probably have a little bit of storage up on the top here. We can have a big void area in the middle, and on the sides there, I don't want it to go all the way to the back. So what I'll do is I'll do this here. We'll take it around, and what's this? 1, 2, and 3 wide. That's probably pretty good. We can also change the color of this floor here. The only reason I haven't continued on with the dark oak is we're running pretty low on it. This is pretty much all the dark oak we have, which will be enough for this build, for sure. But, I mean, after losing that brown shulker box now 3 episodes ago, I really need to go back and collect a bunch of resources, because that was full to the brim with a bunch of all different logs. I made sure that I had a good assortment of them. All the ones that are really tough to get, like the dark oak, the oak, which is way worse than dark oak. It's just it's a pity that I didn't notice that. That's the case. But that is what happens. So here we go. This seems like it's a good place for us to start here. So what we want to do with this is we want to have ourselves, of course, a way to get up here from the bottom. And I think what I'm going to go with is I'm going to go with actually, you know what? I've just thought about this. I'm going to actually do this all the way up to here, and I'll stop without doing a ring around that way. And I'll show you guys why. But what I was thinking with this was specifically because we tend to use stairs a lot and not ladders a lot. Because, of course, I don't think a ladder makes sense in a house. For instance, in the houses that we did the interiors of recently in the other city, we used a lot of stairs, not ladders, and to me it makes sense, and I'll tell you why. Because how many times have you seen a house that has a ladder to get up to the bedroom? I mean, it just didn't make sense to me to put it in there, and I think that's a fair point to the reason why we didn't do it. And actually, I've just realized we started taking this out in the end of last episode, and it's completely lost, fell out of my mind. I guess I'll have to do that. So what I was thinking with this now, why I was saying that, is around here we've got this piece which is pretty high. It's a bit of an awkward height off the ground. So what we could possibly do is go ahead and do another layer over here. So we've got 3 different levels, but this one over here goes around this way, like this. And what it'll do for us is it'll mean that when we've got this piece up here, you climb up a ladder over here, get onto this level, and then you can climb up on another ladder and get onto that level there, which gives us a lot of room to work with here. It also means we don't have to have a ridiculously tall ladder. It breaks up the walls a bit. It's just overall really good for building, but it looks like nighttime's about to fall down here, so we'll have to sleep away the night, and we'll get this going on here. Walls, floors, that sort of stuff. Bam. There it is. I think this is turning out to be better than what I expected. To be completely honest, I was kind of, when we started this last episode, I was kind of worried about the direction I was going to be going with it after we got the doors in. I didn't really know completely, and then when we got this module on, we started adding in the little side pieces. It's really started to come together and show itself to be an original barn. I think that was the most important thing, and I think I couldn't have stressed that enough. We wanted it to look original, and we wanted it to look like a barn. So our own sort of thing, I think we've pulled it off. That's pretty much the front. Now, there is another little catch to this, and that is we haven't done the sides. And that is definitely lacking. Look at this. For instance, from here, kind of looks like a chicken. Is it only me that sees like a little eye with the beak, and then, yeah, that looks like a chicken. I will not unsee that. But what we have to do now is we have to make this side over here, and the other side for that matter, a bit less flat. That's the whole point about building the way I'm building currently, is whittling away. As I say, you take a little piece, you do it the way you want it, but the other pieces you have to go ahead and break off, for instance, this wall. Just make them look a little bit better. And one thing I need to do here, by the way, is probably put in one of those there. That'll probably work quite well. And also, I know there's a piece out here. Let me go fix this before I ever forget. There. And then, oh, I actually don't know what's going on here. I guess that goes there, and then these go up this side. See, this is also another problem with when you do piece by piece. You end up forgetting which piece you got up to. So I'll double check if those are correct later. It's not a big deal. If they aren't, we'll be able to fix them up pretty easily. Yeah, they are correct, turns out. So let's go ahead onto these side pieces and have a look at what we could do. So around here, we've got ourselves, probably we could pick out 1, 2, 3 blocks. 3 blocks tends to be a good place to add in a lot of detail. And this sort of a build, if you have a look at this, I know it can sometimes be a bit busy depending on your style. But in this style, I'm actually quite happy with it. The amount of stuff we've got going on here, I want to pull it through on this side of the build. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead, split this wall up into 3 block segments on this side, and then obviously on the next side as well, we'll go on all the way there and make another 3 block segment. And then the center one, I think what we'll do is we'll pull the roof out a little bit. So if we have the whole roof moving in that direction, we'll have a little bit of a window peeking out from the top. That would probably work quite well. So how about we get going with a little bit of this stuff here? I think what I'll do is I'll probably just give us a little bit of a sample as to what we're going to be doing in here. I think that'll definitely get us on the right path. All right, guys, do I have something to show you? Look at this. I can't help but see a chicken, but it does look like a pretty cool looking chicken building. I think it's turned out very well. And I've gone ahead, done this side. I haven't actually done this to the other side. But this is the sort of thing that I say really helps, is whittling it down. Just think about that. Get yourself a flat wall, push in a little bit, pull out a little bit, and then you get something like this. Of course, there's a few other little bits in between. But that's what we've gone ahead and done. Just use that blank little canvas of that really ugly wall and just pushed in pieces, broke them up, and I think that's looking somewhat like a barn. I didn't want to get too fancy. It was starting to get a little bit over the top in some areas, and I was like, this is meant to be just like a simple barn, so I can't go too nuts. But overall, I think this has turned out very, very well. Now, as I am very low on oak, that's all I've got. I'm going to have to go chop some of them down. I'm going to have to chop down a few more things as well to get this all repeated over to this side. But you guys kind of get the idea, you know? You can see where it's going, And I'm sure you will be there will be no surprise when the other side looks like a flipped version of this side. So we'll go ahead and call it an episode right there, guys. Thank you so much for the crazy support in this area, which, might I add, is starting to look very, very good. And also, thank you very much for joining me around on this episode as well. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next one.